disclaimer, I'm not a PHP developer. I never used PHP. I am a WordPress fan. I do think that WordPress is probably one of the most best CMS out there, and I do use WordPress also with all of my knowledge and experience with modern front-end frameworks and JavaScript and all those new technologies. I am using WordPress when I need to build a CMS-based website, 100% website for most of my side projects, to be honest. Quick introduction, this is me, my name is Nir Kaufman. I'm doing using front-end technologies for the past, I think, more than 10 years. So I started with Flash, and I did all this journey up until modern front-end. On my day job, I'm working with our clients at the 500 Tech, which is a front-end consultancy based in New York City and Tel Aviv. Most of the time I'm using both Angular and React, focused mostly on the front end. Recently I started to expand the stack a little bit and get my hands dirty with some middlewares we don't know, but my expertise and my focus is on the front end side. Alright, cool. So we've got 30 minutes, which is not a lot of time, and my goal for this talk is first to expose you to this option, which is how to use WordPress as a headless CMS, to give you some practical head start, and to show you how to configure and get it up and running as fast as possible. Talk a little bit about the pros and cons of using WordPress and why we should do it, why we should consider it, what are the benefits. Because again, we are talking about kind of a standalone stack, which is WordPress, which everything is PHP, and there are some benefits. And then we try to get into some use case and to see if we can do some live demo real quick to really show you what are the benefits. Sounds good? Cool. So I'll just get right into it because that's a short session. If we can get everything ready and still have time, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and share a little bit more of my experience with this stack. And if not, you can catch me later. Alright? Alright, let's get started. Backend-only content management system, that's the formal definition of a headless CMS, basically. WordPress, we're going to use it, we're going to completely disable the old viewer, which means no PHP views, but I want to tell you right away that that's not always a good idea. Sometimes you do want to do some mix and match. Sometimes you do want to serve some pages from your server side, from your WordPress stack, but again, build a complete different client for this. So a standard, just to get everyone aligned, standard WordPress stack is a monolithic build on top of PHP. We've got both our admin dashboard and the front end integrated in one huge server-side rendering stack. Basically, newest version of WordPress, we used to use plugins for this, but currently it's 100% built in. Expose all of our WordPress endpoint as a standard HTTP API, which basically enables us right out of the box to consume whatever you put in your CMS to any client you want to build with. So the front-end sides, actually, that's the easy part, because by the end of the day, you just got some endpoints, and you can make some HTTP requests with everything that you expect from a solid, let's say, a server-side API server, which means authentication, which means custom endpoints. The good news, it's a good news if you don't write any PHP code like me. The good news that you don't need to know PHP, you don't need to mess with PHP. Most of the time you don't need to put some PHP code. Not that it's a bad thing, I'm just not familiar with PHP. If you do need to customize things, like we're going to do in a second, you can copy and paste some snippets of PHP. And me as a JavaScript developer who never touched PHP code, I've got experience with Java and other languages. It's pretty straightforward, but if you do use PHP, you can take it a step further. Everything that we're going to do today, you can do with plugins. In other words, pieces of PHP that were written for us if we don't want to get our hands dirty. All right. So WordPress is still very popular. Still, it doesn't seem to stop. This is like the last number that I could pull out, which is the main reason why we want to use it. And I just want to say, before we jump into installing WordPress locally and see a live demo and start talking about technical things, I just want to mention the best use case of choosing the stack that I'm going to demonstrate, which is using why should I use WordPress as my backend. I mean, we've got a lot of highly productive Node.js frameworks. As developers, if we know PHP or JavaScript, we can build up, we can scaffold an API server in a matter of minutes. I think we're all familiar with this. But usually, and if someone wants to correct me if I got it wrong, usually when you want to build a website for one of your clients, one of your side projects, one of your real-world projects, you're going to end up by, obviously, writing some server-side code, whatever it's being generated with some kind of CLI. You want to give your client, if it's a content-driven website, most of the time you want to give your client some kind of an admin dashboard. You want to give him an easy way to enter data to the system, and then things become a little bit more tricky. There are solutions in JavaScript. From my experience, it's not that easy and straightforward to get up with an admin dashboard out of the box that communicate with your database and to get like, let's say, the fastest. Yeah, I think it's it took me something like 2 to 3 weeks, which is pretty much fast with a lot of code, to build a solid content management system from scratch to one of my clients, which is not that bad, but there is a lot of edge cases which I want to prevent. I think that being able right now to install WordPress and in a matter of minutes give my client a full CMS working out of the box and let him the option to easily learn it and start to enter data while I'm building a modern custom front-end mobile app or whatever, that's the benefit and that's the use case. All right. If you're not familiar with the Mem Stack, yeah, nice animation, but it's basically, we've got the Mem and we've got the WAMP. This is the stack that we need to download and install on our machines in order to build a WordPress website, MySQL, Apache, macOS, or Windows. Actually, the Mem Stack stands for PHP or Python or Perl, but obviously we're going to use PHP because WordPress is written with PHP. There are basically 2 popular ways to get up and running. One of them is to go straight to the MEMP website and just download the stack and install it on your laptop and get it configured. The other one is to go with Bitnami. Who's familiar with Bitnami? Who heard about it? It's a one-click install solution, which obviously it's free. They've got a different pricing model, but once you downloaded it, you're going to get a standalone installer, which is going to run everything inside a container. And if I click on this WordPress icon, all I need to do basically is to hit start and get my website up and running. And that's it. It's that easy. On the background, once you install it, it's gonna take care of configure your MySQL database, the Apache web server, and everything you need in between. So I think that's the fastest solution. The pros, obviously, you can get up and running just by, I'm just gonna hit start, and we're gonna get a WordPress website. The downside of this is that this is kind of a black box. So it's not that easy and straightforward to get into the source files and to get like a real understanding of what's going on behind the scenes when they configure all the stack inside their container. So another nice solution that I like to use is Docker. Now I've got here this link. I'm going to share these slides with you. Obviously, that's already on a USB stick ready to be published. So if you visit this link, you find a nice YAML file for Docker. Who's using Docker? Cool. All right. So basically, where's the YAML? Where's the YAML? Here it is. Basically, this link lead you to a GitHub gist, which contain this YAML, which give you the option to install the entire thing with a single line of code. So if I'm go ahead and download this YAML file, and then choose Docker compose, but let's go up. This is the second time I'm running it to save us time. The first time you're going to run this, obviously all the dependencies are going to be downloaded and configured, and you're up and running in a matter of a minute. If I go now and visit localhost 8000, I'm going to start the WordPress installation process. So basically 3 options. I think more realistic, it's either to use the Bitnami installer, and then just a click and you've got the whole thing's up and running, which is currently happening in the background. Or if you want to get more control and know exactly what's going on and get a direct access to the entire source code and folder structure, and because you want to customize WordPress, so that's going to be probably a better solution. Just download this file and you're up and running in minutes. So I'm going to install WordPress. We'll click. We're going to choose English, site title, shop, username, going to be this, password, going to be this, and my email. And let's install WordPress. I'm going to log in. Is there anyone in this room that never saw a WordPress admin panel? Be honest, if there's someone here. All right, so welcome. Probably the most popular admin panel ever. All right, so we've got a WordPress website. No surprises here. If I go and visit the website, obviously, because it's a full stack solution, we're going to have our default viewer rendered with PHP, which we don't want to use anyway. So let's start by disabling this whole theming option. I don't want no one to get any view whatsoever if you serve to my website. Now, to do it, there is basically few options. The best practice would be to create a default theme, a custom theme with WordPress to just disable the entire thing. To do it, you need to create a custom theme. Now, I know I promised that it's not going to be any PHP code, but it's so tiny piece of code that I feel comfortable with showing you this. So if I go to my desktop, let's go to... let's create a theme. Let me show you the entire process. It's going to be quick and easy. I'm going to go to my desktop. Actually, you don't even need to do it. I can just copy paste one of the built-in themes. I can go here to W content, go to theme. A WordPress theme needs basically 3 files in order to operate. So I need my styles CSS. I need to include this comment that you're going to see on the top in a second. And I need an index PHP, and I've got a valid WordPress theme. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this entire thing. I'm going to create an empty folder. Let's call it the void, because it's going to be no front end. Then I'm just going to create 2 files, which is style CSS. I'm going to add a file called functions.php. We're going to use it in a second. And I think that I don't remember if it's index.php, to be honest. Yes, an index.php file. And now if I go ahead and open this on my code editor, I'm not using VS Code usually. I'm using WebStorm. I'm just trying to be very open source today and using just free tools in this demonstration. So yeah. So if I open up this custom theme that we just created, I'm going to go into my index.php. And as a JavaScript developer, I really like this line of code that I'm going to write right now. It's exit. Basically. And that's it. So this is for the index.php. For the style CSS, in order to get this theme to work, you need to include this entire thing. So let's get rid of the author, the version. Let's leave some of the things. Let's change it to the void. And yeah, I think it's okay. And now we've got a custom theme, which no front end at all. So I'm going to take this, the void. I'm going to zip it. I'm going to go back to our WordPress. Dashboard. Go to Appearance, Theme, Install a new theme, upload this zip. Desktop. The void. Install it. Activate it. And hopefully if I go to visit the website, I'm not going to see anything at all. So this is for disabling the entire viewer in PHP. Next, what I want to do, I want to show you this. Out of the box, if I'm gonna go to, if I want to test the REST API that I've got from WordPress right out of the box, all you need to do is to enter this this URL, wp-json, and get nothing. Let's see what's going on. The reason for this is that I need to go to my setting, to my permalink, to use a custom structure, to save changes. Go back here, let's give it another chance. Almost. Let's try. I used to fight with it a lot until I found out that you have to update the permalink. Well, I think it was a nice demo to show why you do want to use Bitnami. So I'm going to go to this Bitnami installer. I'm going to go to application, which is going to open up the website for me. Here I've got the credential to log in, user Bitnami into the admin panel. So I can come here, go to admin. If I want to know which endpoints I can use, now I can go ahead and use this wp-json. And as you can see here, everything is exposed to me as a REST API, just out of the box. So if, for example, I want to go ahead and grab all of my posts, it's going to be wp v2 posts, and I've got the only post that I've currently got on my system exposed to me as a REST API. So in terms of get up and running, install WordPress locally, whatever you want to do it with the Docker, and then mess a little bit with configuration to make it work, or just use a one-click solution. And right out of the box, we've got everything exposed as an API, which means that right now my client can go ahead and start using this data. Basically, if I take this URL and just jump into whatever front-end I want to build, so this is an Angular, for example, and I'm just going to make an HTTP request. I'm going to get all the data. We're going to build a nice front-end, maybe. I don't know. That's not the focus. I want to show you more important things about how to use WordPress as a headless CMS than building a front-end. Next. So that was nice. I think it was pretty much straightforward, but that's not enough. Obviously, if you're going to build something complicated on the server side, you're going to want to customize the endpoint, like any server code that you're going to implement by your own. So you're going to want to use some kind of authentication. You want to be able to create some custom endpoints. You want to be able to install and enjoy the entire ecosystem of WordPress to build some complicated things. So I want to jump straight into a use case. Let's say you want to build a complete e-commerce solution. The most popular plugin out there is probably Woocommerce, which again, if you want to see some nice numbers, it's powering most of the online stores around the world. I mean, that's a known fact. So it's a complete solution. And I want to show you, if I'm going to open this link, I'll go to my admin panel. I'm going to go to plugins. I'm going to install Woocommerce. That's probably not where is it? Where's my Woocommerce?
Type it without no space between.
I'm just gonna upload it because I downloaded it before. Here it is, Woocommerce. But thank you. I'm gonna install it. I'm gonna activate the plugin. I'm gonna install Woocommerce admin. Activate the plugin. So basically right now I've got an entire online store ready for me with all the complex functionality that we will expect from a complete e-commerce solution. And the nice thing about it, because everything is integrated into the modern WordPress, there is actually a library called Woocommerce REST API JavaScript library. So in a matter of few clicks, I can get all of the e-commerce functionality exposed as a REST API for me. So right now, if I go and investigate this a little bit, and actually, read the docs, I can see that there is another namespace. You see this WooCommerce v3? So if I go back to my WordPress website and try to hit WP-JSON and WC v3, you've got the entire Woocommerce REST API exposed to you, which means that you can interact with everything. Payments, methods, products, you name it. It means that in a matter of and I think that's the benefit. If there's one thing that I would like you to take from this introduction to this whole concept, would be this: to be able to build an entire solution using the WordPress ecosystem in a matter of a minute and get get the REST API for free for it. Because right now you can start adding products and build your store. And on the other side, yeah, obviously, I can use the Angular or React or whatever I want to use here. The only thing I need to do is just consume an API request. Obviously, that's not enough. We want to take it a step further. We want to be able to create some custom endpoint. For example, a regular WordPress installation comes built in with pages and posts. Originally, WordPress, like most of us know, was built for a blog. So I can go ahead and use some custom PHP to get some more custom types, some more sophisticated endpoint, and write some code. It's going to be inside a function PHP file. I don't want to show you this because, to be honest, straightforward. I've got a list of resources for you on my slides. You're going to do a simple click, copy paste, and you get all this functionality out of the box. I do want to show you that there is two important plugins that give you a lot of other magic out of the box. One of them is the JWT authentication for WordPress, which you just install and give you all the authentications endpoints that you need in order to take a token and work with this. And the other one is custom post type UI, which again, out of the box, you install it and you get everything exposed to you. Now I know this is a short talk, this is a huge subject. So it was like a quick introduction to expose you to this whole concept. Obviously, it wasn't a deep dive. To be honest, I built at least 3 or 4 real products on top of this stack, and the deep dive was as easy as just install some plugins. Now, as a developer who doesn't want to mess with a server-side stack, who doesn't want to mess with other custom CMS, and are pretty much familiar with WordPress, it was an experience of just use the ecosystem, which is mature and stable, and to be able to get an e-commerce site with authentication in a matter of minutes, a true story. My client was able to start and uploading and building his store for 2 weeks until I got the front end ready. We got with a real e-commerce website up and running, which is actually selling stuff and making money in a matter of less than a month, based on the fact that WordPress is stable and I know how to build a front end. So I've got these slides for you with a bunch of links, with a bunch of resources that I already shared with the people from the conference here. If you want to get some more real-world information, because we don't have that much time, you're more than welcome to drop me an email, send me a line. I will be more than happy to show more resources, to give you answers for more complicated scenarios, and to give you share an experience of building a real-world solution on top of this stack. So feel free to do it. I hope that from this speed talk, you get like an understanding that this is a valid solution and it's something that you would like to investigate and take it a step further. So thank you for being here, and I will need to, that's it, and just